Live. Okay, hey, what's happening, everybody? I usually don't go live, but I'm sitting here and I'm going through all this stuff right now. As you can see, I'm trying to do a little bit of work. We have 7 days before we make history in this city, and we have so many important issues to talk about. Whether it's the education of our children and closing the achievement gap, whether it's the crime in the streets, the economic development of the city. Getting rid of the abandoned properties, or getting these abandoned or absentee landlords here, making sure that they're part of our cleaning up of the city, being responsible, all these things that we're talking about. And somebody brings me this, and I think 7 days from an election, man, we should be serious. We shouldn't be doing this, kindergarten stuff, this school playground stuff. They keep talking about it, and every time we read the newspaper or something like that, the newspaper is trying to make it as if we're the ones that are the bullies, and we're doing this and we're doing that. But every time you turn around, it's this guy right here who wants to be the mayor, and he's using false information again. He's making all kinds of claims, and he's putting these mailers out, and the source that he's using to say that it's a fact is the Trentonian. Come on, man. The Trentonian? I don't even think people in middle school would use the Trentonian as a reference tool, right? I thought you were running for mayor, not the editor of the Trentonian, right? Come on, you got to be really serious here, bro. This is serious. We're talking about people's lives here. This is not a game. You don't see me doing this kind of stuff. You don't see me out there calling people names and calling them bullies and lying about their careers and all that stuff. God has truly blessed me, and for that I thank Him. And everybody who knows me knows who I am. I'm somewhat of a colorful individual, but I'm a very humble man. I've been married for 37 years. You know that. I'm dedicated to my wife. I'm dedicated to my children. I'm proud of their accomplishments. My wife and I struggled together since we were 15 years old. Okay? And everything we've accomplished is true. Did I get a GED? Yeah, I did. Did I go into the Army? Absolutely. I served 20 years in the military. But these guys are out there asking me for my Social Security number. They're out there asking me for my date of birth. The newspaper wanted me to tell them who my father is and what is his background. Now, the last time I heard somebody doing stuff like that, they were trying to say that President Obama wasn't a U.S. citizen. And then they want you to believe that they're for immigrants. You have to watch these people, because they try to play one thing and then they do another. And what that tells me is that we're really getting close to this victory. So we have to stay focused. We have to stay together in these last 7 days. Don't let them try and fool us. Okay? This is the machine. It is. There's no way around it. 20 years, 22 years, whatever it is. When you look out here on Broad Street and State Street, you can see the results of the time that this gentleman right here has spent in the assembly, and it hasn't been effective. Okay? I'm not saying anything bad about him. I'm not looking into his background. I could care less about his background. What I care about is, do you have the qualifications to run this city? Have you ever managed a budget the size of this city? Have you ever led an organization the size of this city? With all of the different departments that they have, whether it's contracting, emergency management, public safety, public works, facilities, budgeting, all these things. This is what we should be talking about. How are we going to make you safe? How are we going to clean up our streets? How are we going to give educational opportunities for our children outside of the classroom, like we've been doing under our partnerships for Trenton, when we send the kids to summer school, and summer camp. Most of you already know that. You know the work that we've been doing. But all of a sudden, we get into an election and they're calling me a Republican. They're making all these lies up. You know what I mean? Why are you doing that? We don't need to do that. They're trying to, they use words to try and connect me to Donald Trump. They did videos connecting me to Cheney. Now, Cheney, listen, I was Cheney's bodyguard for 3 years. That is an incredible achievement for somebody from the city of Trenton. In fact, if you do your research, you will see that the Trentonian had me in the front page with Dick Cheney's picture. Okay? But now it's under different, I guess, stewardship, and now they think that it's fashionable, you know, to act like Donald Trump, because that's what they remind me of. They remind me of a bully. They remind me of people who are trying to intimidate and coerce people into making decisions that aren't going to be healthy for you. Okay? By using this kind of tactic here. You know, why don't you just send one out and say what great things your guy has done? Okay? These are questions. This is what he believes in. These aren't accomplishments. And then they try to counter it and think that it's okay and say, fact check down here, the Trentonian said. Many of you out there that read the Trentonian have your own scale of credibility when it comes to the Trentonian, right? People call the Trentonian by other names. I won't disrespect them. I will just say that it's not really reliable. You know, and all we want to do is make a difference in the city. That's all we came to do. That's all anybody out there wants. I always say, somewhere in this city right now, there are children who are falling to their knees, asking God to bring someone to the city that's going to give them an opportunity to do great things. It always bothers me when I talk about that because it's stressful. Running for mayor is stressful. And coming from a family of 15, I know poverty. And when I say that line, it always bothers me because I remember what I used to say when I used to say, God, please bless me with the ability to do all that I can do so that I can one day guarantee my children a better life than the one that I experienced. And this is what we should be concentrating on, not this kind of trash. It's really hateful. You know, by now we've already seen the experiences of silliness where we saw signs coming down. We even saw somebody, and I don't know who it was, but they took spray paint and they spray painted my face on one of the signs. Anywhere else that would be headline news, it would be a hate crime. You know, it would be some kind of bashing that goes on. But we don't hear that. And you're not going to hear it because they're trying to manipulate us all. Even the fact that the mayor yesterday, now this is the mayor who served for 4 years, and he's not afraid to say that he struggled and it was a challenge. And he was smart enough to say, listen, this is tough. I don't want to do this anymore. Okay? And he broke away from normalcy or a normal routine of following what the party line says. And he says, you know what? I looked at both guys, and I think the most qualified individual is Paul Perez. You can't beat that. There's nothing behind that. That's an honest heart. And I think that's the honest heart that people voted for when he beat me the first time. So what he did was he had that honest heart when he ran. Somehow it was corrupted, but because he had that strong background and upbringing in the church and the values that his family had, it brought him back to that. And he said, no more, I'm not going to do it. So I'm going to ask the people to follow the right man. Now I believe that. I believe that to be true. But that doesn't make me part of the machine. I can't be part of the machine and be a Republican at the same time. How many lies can you tell? We were saying this the other day. What this city needs the most it needs trust. Us trusting each other, us believing in each other, us understanding that there's more important things than this kind of stuff. You know, Freedom and I were talking the other day to children in the schools, and the topic was death. Why are our middle schoolers talking about death? I asked them a question. How many of you guys out there want to be doctors, lawyers, engineers? And just a few hands went up. We're missing the point. We're missing the boat. In the debate the other day, they asked me, if I become the mayor, what's going to be my number one advocacy or social justice issue that I'm going to take to the governor? My opponent talked about, you know, some issues that were probably relevant, but the most relevant issue to be talking about from this city, if you know Trenton like I know Trenton, is that we have a fair and formal education guaranteed to our children, just like everybody else. That's guaranteed by the Constitution. That's why we're not making a difference in this city, because we have people fighting for issues that are their issues and not the issues that affect this city. Now, I was advised not to do this video, but I can't help it. It's too important. There's too many issues. You know, do you show up like this when somebody's killed in our neighborhoods? Well, let me give you a simple one. When I walk into the Abbott building, they say to me in the West Side, we don't need you to tell us who you are, Mr. Perez. We know you. You know why? Because I'm always there. And if they watch me right now, they will tell you that when their elevators ain't working, I'm the one that they call. When somebody's violating their visitor policy, I'm the one that they call. I never see these guys there, right? Or at the Josephine building, or at the Trent Center East, the Trent Center West, where I've been involved with them. In fact, we created a seniors health and wellness task force that includes the mobility impaired, just so that we can go around the towers, to include Rowan Towers, French Towers, Luther Towers, Kingsbury. That's why we're winning. We're winning because we're putting in the work and we're really helping the people. I don't have to lie. We don't have to tell lies. We don't have to go out there and make people get in front of the cameras and try and tell people that we're somebody who we're not. I don't have to do that. The people know us. You know me. But it's sickening and it's upsetting when we see this kind of stuff. Now, I don't have any power over what they call political action committees. I don't. That's the way that this establishment put the rules together. So that means if somebody wants to back you, they have the right to send out material. And they do, they send it out. But that material is marked very clearly as to who it's from. Sometimes they don't even get the information right. Last time somebody sent out one trying to support me, and I didn't even know who it was, and they put that I was a ballot number 4A. You know, so it goes to show you that there's no coordination between us and them. But this is what they want to focus on. And this is not what we need. What we need to focus on is who's going to get into City Hall and provide an opportunity for those people who are currently working there right now and have the responsibility of creating a better Trenton. Who's got that experience and who's going to do that as a new leader? I don't hear that coming from them. They tried to tear us down so much. Me. I'm a member of the Senior Executive Service at the federal government. It's a promotion that I earned. Don't dislike me for it. Don't try to discredit me for it. We should be celebrating that. That's the story that our kids need to hear. That I came from Trenton and I accomplished that. When I was 25 years old and I worked in the Pentagon, Dick Cheney was the Secretary of Defense. I was a soldier in the United States Army. I became a warrant officer. As a warrant officer, I was the first young warrant officer one ever to lead a security detail for a Secretary of Defense. It's the truth. They're trying to tell me I didn't even serve in the military. It's discouraging. It's discouraging the levels that they've gone to. Now, we've been here before, not me, but we've seen what they've done to people who are connected to me. And if you had a problem in your background, they want to tell you that they believe in second chance and they talk about all that stuff, but they quickly push to the newspaper information regarding people who have probably committed an error in their life. Even me, they have me on the front page for something that happened 16 years ago. I don't deny it. Listen, I told them it was the most embarrassing moment of my life. But I don't go around trying to hurt people because they made a mistake. Because that's not the kind of mayor that we need. The kind of mayor that we need is somebody who understands the population that we serve and realizes and recognizes what we need to do to help that population. Not break it down further. Not create more dissension, hate, trying to split people, telling stories about Latinos this. We're going to bring in all these people. You never hear me say that he's Caucasian or white and he's going to do that, because I know that's foolishness. I've never done that in my life. I've always been inclusive. When I served in the Army, and yes, I did serve in the Army 20 years, and yes, I did visit 3 combat theaters. If something happened to me or if I had to use my weapon, I wasn't thinking I'm doing this only for a certain population. I was doing it for my country. And you can never take that away from me. I'm a proud soldier. I served my country. So did my father. So did 8 other brothers and sisters in my family. So did my 2 sons. So did several of my nephews and nieces. In fact, we call it the family business. That's how connected we are to military service for this country. And because you don't understand it, you want to belittle it. As a soldier, I was nonpartisan because I served the commander-in-chief. I couldn't pick a party. So to me, it's not about Republican or Democrat. It's about the issues. Can I help you? Can I help you better your circumstance? Can I make this city into a better city? Can I communicate? Can I connect and understand the problems that you're going through? It's not about this. They even, you know what they did? They took this picture and they darkened my face. It's disrespectful. His face is all color, you see? And then they darkened my face. Is it prejudice? I don't know. You be the judge. Is it privilege? I don't know. You be the judge. It's sickening. And I apologize that I have to come out and talk to you about this, but we are on the verge of making history and making this city into a beautiful, loving, inclusive, operational, golden jewel, which is what everybody wants. But in order to do that, we still have to fight these career politicians and this incredible machine that they have, where they have the power of calling people and intimidating and doing all kinds of things. And I guess at this point I'm just exhausted, and that's the reason why I said, you know what, enough, I'm tired. I'm not going to keep letting them beat us up. You don't see me around town contributing to the filth of the street by putting my signs everywhere. Do you see that from me? No. If we're putting out signs, we're putting out signs into people's homes. And the few signs that you might see in the streets, you can ask anybody in my staff. In fact, what I do is I ask them to stop and pick them up. Because I don't want to contribute to the filth of the city. I want to clean it up. I want you to be proud of your city. You really have to look at the choices that we're making here and who these people really are. They jump from one team to another, and then they try to justify why they're doing things. They write all kinds of things. They try to act as if they're a state agency at times and tell you what the rules are. It's amazing. It's amazing, amazing to see in action. But we're not going to let them get us down. And we're not going to forget that we need to get out there and vote. And that we need to call our families. That we need to knock on our friends' doors. And we need to let them know we all need to walk down to the polling station and vote. We have a chance. And then, when we win, we all need to go to work. Because one person can't do this. And you know that. That's why we've been working together. Right? That's the reason why we've been working together. Everything that you hear, you know, it's funny, everything that you hear is comes from their playbook. You know, the only reason why somebody is connected to you is because you gave them something. No, that's what you do. And that's why it hurts you, because you think that we're using your tactics, but we're not. What we're using is something that comes difficult. Honesty, credibility, integrity. And people know that. When you're genuine, when you're authentic, people know that. I never knew that this was going to be the point where I was going to say to you that we've had enough with these guys. But this is the point. We've had enough with these guys. We want to put them on display, and we want you to know exactly who they are. We've had an opportunity to debate several times now, and every time that we go, it's not a real debate. It's a forum. You know, they create situations where you can't even talk about the issues, that you can't even ask them simple things like what makes you qualify, you know, and let's talk about that a little bit more. Let's really bring in your credentials that shows who you are. Let the people ask you questions. We haven't seen that. And I don't know if it's that they're afraid, but I know that every time I've been readily available. Ask me any question. I'm there to answer. And if I don't know the answer, I would say I don't know the answer. Because that's how I was taught to do things. Respect, listen, and help if I can. And if I can't, I'm not going to mislead you. We are serious about what we're trying to do. And I appreciate my supporters out there who work very hard and even sacrifice their time to go out and knock on doors and try and get us to this point. It's change. Change is difficult. Sometimes it can be scary. And guess what? We still include everybody out there who's not voting for us. We still include everybody who's out there not voting for us. Because we understand that when we win, we have to serve you too. So none of that is going to be held against anyone, and it should not be a concern. Once again, when President Obama was the president, he was the president of the whole United States. He wasn't the president of just some people, right? And I know my wife is probably watching by now because somebody probably told her I'm on here. So I love you, sweetheart. And I love my grandchildren, my son who's visiting us, and my son Stephen, who's out in Puerto Rico right now working. Here's what I would tell you. We need to stick together. We really do, as a people, all of us. Janet always told me, my wife, she says, you know, what you're going through is tough, but can you imagine what Michelle and Barack went through when they were the president, when they were running for office? And that usually gives us some ease. It makes us feel good about what we're doing, and it keeps us focused. So I just wanted to share that piece with you. But know that we're strong. Know that we're proud of the work that you're doing. Know that we appreciate you and we love you so much. and know that absolutely to the end, we're going to run this race fair and square. We are not going to participate in this kind of stuff. We are going to stay clean. We are going to stay above the fray, and we're going to win with your help. With your help. That's the guarantee. That's the promise that I make. The promise that I make is if you go out and you vote, we will win. Right? So, thank you very much. I love you all, and I will see you on June the 12th. God bless you. Que Dios los bendiga a todos.